Hey guys, I'm Sarah Beth, Sarah Beth's Signature, also all.rad.reads on TikTok, which is probably, if any of you have come over here from TikTok, that's what you normally know me as. This is primarily going to be a booktube, but I do want to talk about other content, so I didn't want to just pin myself into just my book talking name, but all my reads are still rad. I figured I would start this Booktube account with doing the Booktube newbie tag. I've got the questions in front of me, but also just like a generic little bit about me. My name's Sarah Beth. I live down in the South. I have a delightful husband and a 2-month-old son. Well, he's almost 2 months. A adorable cat and a black lab. And I am a big fan of almost all genres. I play a lot of cozy games on my Switch, and my husband has somehow convinced me to play Valorant with him, but I enjoy it mostly for the magical aspect. I love that all the characters in that game have fun abilities. I am a fan of all things Grand Millennial, if you can't tell from my large green velvet chair. I normally am wearing a headband and a nap dress, and that's pretty much my uniform for my life. I do my own nails, which like I'd love to talk about that. I'm not super great at it, but I do enjoy doing that. And I'm an overall like crafter when I have time. I do a lot of like cross stitching. I sew some of my own clothes. I haven't done that in a while. But overall, my like biggest hobby is definitely reading, and it's my favorite one to talk about. I don't get to talk about the other ones as much, so if you're interested in the other ones, let me know. I'd love to talk about them more. Into the questions. Why did I start this channel? I have been on Book Talk for maybe 2 years, and I've got like quite a nice little group over there, and I really like it. My bread and butter, my favorite thing ever is creating long form video. In my professional life, I am a in-house videographer and photographer, so I love editing and making videos and taking photos and doing all that stuff. So I really just wanted an opportunity to do it in a more creative setting. I've thought about it a lot while I was on maternity leave, and it just kind of felt fun, and I don't get to do as much video stuff like this as I would like to, and so I thought this would be a great way for me to get to do that on the side. And I love to talk about books, as seen on my TikTok. I make a lot of jokes on my TikTok, and I don't feel like there's a lot of room for like actually talking about books because it's short form content. So I love the fact that this will give me the space to talk longer about books, and hopefully maybe down the road even start like a book club where we can chat about books. I have a book club right now where I live with a group of my friends, and it's really fun, but I would love to create like a big group of us in a fun space on the internet and be pals. That would be the best. But really, I just want to talk to people and talk about books. What are some fun and unique things I can bring to Booktube? I do have a lot of other hobbies, but I think so does like literally everyone else on Booktube. I don't know if I necessarily can bring anything new. I mean, I feel like the internet's pretty overexposed at this point, and like books are really hitting a peak. So I'm hoping I can just be another fun, colorful, joyful person in this space. I am absolutely not a sad beige mom, so let me tell you, if you're coming here looking for that, you're wrong. I am a colorful rainbow mom. I like things to be aesthetically pleasing, but also colorful. Like my home is very colorful. Not as colorful as some people's homes, but it's pretty colorful. I'm really into like greens and blues though. Totally my vibe. Like this chair is my pride and joy. Look at her. But I am gonna talk about some of my other hobbies and maybe do some fun things like, if you like this cozy game, you should read this book. Things like that. I would love to do that. My friend Deirdre on TikTok, she does like, if you love this Disney movie, read this book. And I think she just went to Disney World, maybe Disneyland. I don't know if I got that wrong. Sorry, Deirdre. But she's doing like a, if you like this Disney ride, read this book, which I think is so fun. So I love to do things like that. Also, my friend group, we do about seasonally we pair books with cocktails event, and I'm going to absolutely be posting about those here on this channel because right now I just get to post them about my TikTok, and it's so fun. Everyone has a great time making their cocktail go with their book. Okay, what am I most excited for about this new channel? Honestly, just finding more people to talk about books and getting to actually like review books, not long form, but like be able to say more than like, oh, it was so good, 5 stars. I feel like that's really all you get to do on TikTok. Otherwise people swipe. Whereas here on Booktube, people are actually looking for a little bit more longer of a review. I'm hoping I can help people find some books that they really like. I try to read some books that I don't see anyone else talking about a lot on Book Talk because I know it gets boring hearing people talk about the same 5 books over and over and over again. So I want to bring some new books into the space, hopefully. I just want to help people find books and have people to talk about it with, and I think we'll have fun. Why do I love reading? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Just the way it transports you into somewhere else. I read a lot of fantasy, and it's just, I feel like I'm one of those people that can read books and it is a movie in my brain. My husband does not have that, and that is a very interesting thing for us to discuss because the first time I said that to him, he was like, what? I am a movie in my brain person, and I don't know what it is, but I just feel like TV like hasn't been hitting for me in most recent years. There's a couple shows that have been really good, but it's like, I don't know if I just don't find TV relaxing. Reading really relaxes me, and it's like a fun hobby, and I feel like, you know, works my brain. I feel like maybe my brain won't turn to mush if I read books. I just love books. I've always loved books. I have been an avid reader my whole life. I took like a break in college, you know, and then like got back into reading, but I love books so much. What book or series got me into reading? Great question. When I was a youth, I would have told you these books. The Click. I literally, oh my God, they're over here. Hang on. Literally. I can't believe I have all of these over here. These, the Click books. If you know, you know. This created an unhealthy obsession. This was back when Barnes & Noble and LOL, if you're old enough, Borders and Books A Million and things like that would open at midnight for big releases. Like Harry Potter, I wasn't old enough to read Harry Potter like right when the first few ones came out, but my mom was really into them, and we would literally go camp outside of bookstores to get the book at the midnight release. They would do that with the Click books. They would have them at like the midnight release on Tuesdays, and I always made my mom go. I loved them. So Lacey Harrison, if you ever see this channel, you changed my life. I loved those books, binged them completely. But like also like if you were even counting younger than that, I read a lot of like Boxcar Children, Nancy Drew, things like that. Recently, post college, when I like kind of fell into like a reading slump, like I read some in high school, and then like maybe I read like probably in total like 20 books maybe while I was in college. I would say what brought me back into reading this time currently was actually From Blood and Ash, which is really funny because I feel like for most people it's A Court of Thorns and Roses, but I saw so many TikToks about From Blood and Ash, so I ordered it on like a whim. And maybe that's why I kind of have a soft spot for it, because I read it and was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I had not read a book at that point in like forever, so probably why I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. But I love those books. I have a soft spot for them. I definitely know that they have their problems. I know. I do really love those books, but after I read From Blood and Ash, I think I read In a Holidays by Christina Lauren, and then I ended up reading more of I read the second From Blood and Ash book, and then I read all of ACOTAR that was out at that point, which was everything except for A Court of Silver Flames. So I went hard really quick. I discovered Book Talk in like November 2020, and then 2021 I read 110 books. I went crazy, and now I have this whole shelf. I did not have that before. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Ooh, okay. I've just like learned about Booktube while I've been on maternity leave. I love Haley Pham, Sarah Crowley, Destiny Sidwell, been binging all theirs. I also really like Faith Reads Things, Rachel Catherine, and I love Darling Desi, which like, I don't know if she counts as like a booktuber, but she is absolutely my vibe. Love her home, love her aesthetic. And then Liv's Library. I love Liv, absolutely. Oh, what questions would I ask them? What questions would I ask? I don't know. I think I would love to know what book they would recommend me if they like looked at my Goodreads and like kind of saw what I liked compared to like what they'd like. So if any of the people I just listed have a book they'd like to recommend me, let me know, because I'm always here for recommendations. Also, I'd probably love to know like how they feel when they started Booktube versus now, like a then and now. Did they feel like they knew what they were doing? I don't know if I feel like I know what I'm doing, but I do talk about books already on TikTok, so that does make me feel a little bit more comfortable. What challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Obviously, I think it's like exposure. I work in marketing as part of my job as a photographer and videographer, so exposure is always the hardest thing. I think the fact that I already have a following on TikTok hopefully should make it a little bit easier, because hopefully I have some people that will come from TikTok over to my YouTube. Please, if you did, thank you, I love you, you're great. That, and then kind of figuring out like where I fall in this space. I'd love to try to do some vlogs, but also it's kind of hard as a mom of a newborn baby. Right next to me is the monitor. My son is napping, love him. My husband is a full-time student. He's about to graduate here in May. So a lot of the time I'm just home alone with my son, kind of navigating that, which is just like a personal thing, and just figuring out, I don't want to do something that everyone else has necessarily done, but there are a lot of videos that I have seen that I would love to do because I think they'd be fun. Like I've never done a 24-hour readathon, but sometimes it feels like I'm up for 24 hours with a newborn baby. So I could basically do that anyways. And we could just feature Graham. He's so cute. Everyone wants to see him, right? New mom props. When did I start reading? Well, I started, like I said earlier, I started reading again really actively in winter of 2020. But I mean, I've been reading forever. I was one of those people who was like hella competitive with AR points, like hella competitive. If I wasn't the highest, I got really mad. Someone probably could have written like a little academic rivals to lovers of me and this guy in elementary school and middle school who would like fight each other for the highest points. Like we had like this leaderboard in our elementary school that was in the hallway, and the highest person got some sort of prize that was really cool. And then the second person person didn't get a prize that was as cool. And so me and this guy, I think his name was Eric, I would go look and he would be like 2 points ahead of me. And so then I would go binge read the biggest book I could find. And then I would take the test. And I would just be like, we went like this the whole time. It was very intense. So if that tells you anything about me, I might be a tidbit competitive. Where do I read? I would love to say I sit in this chair and read all the time. I don't. This is my reading corner. It's a vibe, at least I think it is. My bookshelf is like right here next to me, and this is my little like TBR shelf of like priority picks. But I read a lot on like my couch, in my bed, on my Kindle. Also at the pool, I love to sit outside and read. I've got my son this little thing, I'll put it here, and I lay on my picnic blanket and I read and I put him under there. I've done that a few times and it is really nice. What kind of books do I like to read? I primarily read fantasy and romance and thrillers, I guess I would say. I've started reading more contemporary and like literary fiction. I do not read historical fiction or memoirs. My goal for 2023 is to read at least one of both of those. I've never read a memoir, and I just really don't like historical fiction because I feel like it's always about the war. I have read enough about the war. So what does my book collection look like? Well, I will show you. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks for hopefully welcoming me to Booktube and YouTube in general. I'm excited to see how this goes. Give me a follow if you like any of those things, and like let me know if you're interested in any of my other hobbies because I'd love to talk about them. Thanks for watching.